Iran's president defends uranium enrichment after Europeans trampled on their commitment. CNN. Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi has defended his country's enrichment of uranium to near weapons-grade levels, claiming it was a response to European states not living up to their end of 2015 nuclear agreement. In the beginning, we were not seeking 60% levels of enrichment. The European states trampled upon their commitment, Raisi told CNN's Fareed Zakaria in New York on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly this week. What the Islamic Republic of Iran did was in response to the breaking of commitment of the signatories to the 2015 agreement. Iran announced that it was enriching uranium to 60% in 2021 following an attack on its above-ground nuclear facility in Natanz, which Tehran blamed on Israel. The move alarmed the West as it shortened Iran's so-called breakout time to build a nuclear weapon, which requires uranium that is enriched above 90%. The UN's nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency called the IAEA, said earlier this month that Iran was the only country without a nuclear weapon that was enriching uranium to 60% purity. And in March, the agency announced that uranium particles enriched to 84% were found at Iran's Fordow plant. This month, Reuters cited the confidential IAEA report stating that Iran's stock of uranium enriched to up to 60% purity continues to grow, albeit at a slower pace than that in the previous quarter. Nuclear power, which Iran says that the purpose of its nuclear program requires uranium to be enriched to 3% to 5%. There is also concern that if Iran's nuclear program is not kept in check, it could lead to further nuclear proliferation in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said Wednesday that if Iran acquired nuclear bombs, we have to get one. Raisi rejected accusations that Iran's ramped up enrichment was because the country is seeking to build a bomb, telling CNN it was officially announced that the action that we intend to take is not intended to reach nuclear weapons of any type or a military dimension of any type, but it is a response for the lack of commitment demonstrated by the Europeans. He also reiterated Tehran's long-standing claim that it does not plan to acquire a nuclear bomb. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, called JCPOA, as the 2015 deal to limit Tehran's nuclear program was signed between Iran and world powers, including the United States and the European Union. The agreement capped the Iranian uranium enrichment at 3.67% in exchange for sanctions relief. The US withdrew from the deal in 2018 under President Donald Trump, then launched the wave of sanctions designed to cripple Iran's economy. JCPOA signatories have since 2021 attempted to bring Washington and Tehran back to the negotiation table. The particles have held on and off talks, but have so far failed to return to the agreement. While it was only the US that pulled out of the deal, the withdrawal affected European trade with Iran, said Ali Fayez, Iran project director at the International Crisis Group think tank. As a result, around 80% of Europe's trade with Iran evaporated almost overnight, Fayez told CNN, and the Europeans made plenty of lofty promises to the Iranians in 2018 and none of it materialized. tit for tat. Iran has long argued that after the US withdrawal, other JCPOA signatories have also failed to stick to their part of the deal, continuing instead to impose sanctions against Tehran. The Iranian president told CNN that should Europeans at any time return to the fulfillment of their commitment, rest assured and have no doubt that the Islamic Republic, as it has done in the past, will fully adhere to each commitment. Tehran has recently expressed frustration with the mounting Western sanctions against it, as well as the refusal by the UK, France, and Germany, the E3, to lift a number of sanctions in individuals and entities involved in Iran's missile, nuclear, and other weapons programs, which under the 2015 nuclear pact were due to be lifted next month. This month, the E3 said they will not be lifting sanctions on Iran's missile programs as scheduled, but will instead be transferring them into domestic laws in response to continued Iranian non-compliance with their JCPOA commitment and the ongoing nuclear escalation. Iran's foreign ministry called the decision illegal and that it amounts to the tension-building measure, which is taken in bad faith, Iranian media reported. Iran this month barred several UN inspectors from conducting verification activities on its nuclear program, the IAEA said, adding that Tehran has effectively removed about one-third of the core group of the agency's most experienced inspectors designated for Iran. Raisi told CNN that Iran's intention is not to bar the IAEA from conducting inspections, but that Tehran has withdrawn designations of inspectors from France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, the countries Iran accused of not living up to their commitment under the 2015 deal, as well as the US. Iran has said, "We do not wish any inspectors to be here," Raisi told CNN. "We have said what these three countries, what has been said by the IAEA is that we have certain considerations vis-a-vis individuals from these three countries," he said, adding that their trust is under a shadow of doubt. In a joint statement, the three European countries and the US on Monday demanded that Iran immediately reverse its decision and fully cooperate with the agency. The European signatory to the JCPOA have lost a lot of credibility in the eyes of the Iranians, Bayez of a crisis group said, adding that the Iranians see them as having overpromised and under-delivered. This view, he added, is taken up by hardline politicians like Raisi as well as more moderate ones. Now we see that the Iranians and the Americans have reached an understanding that has toned down Iran's nuclear program, in which Europe played no role, Bayez said. In a sign of the diplomatic breakthrough, Iran this week released 5 American prisoners in the Qatar-mediated deal that also included an unfreezing of some $6 billion in Iranian funds and the release of 5 Iranian prisoners in the US. The deal was a sign of what analysts described as the method of unwritten arrangement between Washington and Tehran, with smaller exchanged concessions in lieu of the wider former agreement.